What's going on, operators, and welcome back to another video. It's not every day that I'm at a loss for words, but I really think we gotta talk. Because apparently, unbeknownst to me, channels like mine are at risk of being terminated on YouTube. I know. It's bullshit, really. But I wanted to make this video to talk to you about it and provide maybe a little bit of my own perspective here. I'm going to be honest, my channel, and I don't mean to sound negative here, but it's pretty damn insignificant compared to some of the other gun channels out there, whether Canadian or American. And I mean that in terms of sheer size, volume, and the number of followers and subscribers and stuff like that. And the reason why I'm saying that isn't to detract from the obvious hard work that I've put in to try to make this channel a success, but more importantly, help people in various different aspects. But the reason why I'm telling you this is more so to highlight how much more of a kick in the balls this is for the guys that have been here longer than me, and how much of a curb stomp this is to the guys that have infinitely more followers and subscribers than I do. What I'm talking about is the implementation of new firearms policies on YouTube. So I actually didn't find out about this until today, which is a few days short of being literally a month to the date when they introduced these new policies, which was in June. It was June 18th last month, 2024. And, you know, at first I thought there was something wrong, something weird, but I didn't really think much of it because what I'm about to tell you is something that YouTube has done not just with my channel on a regular basis, but with many other channels as well. I follow a lot of other gun channels, a lot of gaming channels and stuff like that, and I can tell you that a lot of these guys, really big time, you know, big dick YouTubers, the guys that have followers in the millions, these guys have been talking about this for years. So being a fledgling channel, only being around for about a year and a half, I'm very impressed with what we've done so far, but I gotta be honest, I can't even imagine how it would feel being one of these larger channels and having, you know, literally years, if not a decade plus of your work hanging by a thread. What do I mean by that? Well, essentially, what's going on, sorry for the shaky camera here, is that these policies are actually, I mean, I want to say they're not that terrible because in writing, they're not that terrible. And some of it, although it has become a lot more strict than what it used to be, it seems like it's almost fairly straightforward. You know, you don't want to teach people how to 3D print guns. You don't want to be teaching people how to make their own suppressors or silencers. I mean, maybe you want to do that on a different platform, and maybe you want to do that in person. If that's your jam, you know, whatever. As long as you don't have any nefarious reasons for doing so. But apparently, you can't do these things on YouTube. And, you know, I kind of understand. YouTube is a large public platform with a lot of advertisers and a lot of companies that spend a lot of money to advertise to those millions and millions and millions of people. And so as a result, you know, they got to keep it pretty PG. That part I get. What I don't get is YouTube's previous policies and new current policies essentially being completely abused, misunderstood, and misinterpreted by YouTube staff. I'll give you an example of what happened. So essentially, I did a video a little while back, which was a review for a scope. It was actually a little optic. It was a red dot sight. You guys might remember it. It was a Siley optics video. It was a lot of fun. Actually, it was probably one of my favorite videos that I've done in recent times. I had a great time making the video. It was fun dealing with the company. They were really nice. They sent over a good product. You know, it was great. I had a great time making that video. And historically, I mean, I've had a lot of my videos either demonetized or they've been kind of put into this like limited monetization list which means that you get a little yellow icon on the video. And basically what that means is that your video is restricted to only very specific groups of advertisers. So you don't get the full group of advertisers that advertise on pretty much any PG, YouTube video. You are put into a very limited list of companies who are willing to advertise on videos that have been flagged. And again, a lot of these videos that are flagged are videos that have broken policies. So videos where, at least for firearm content, people are showing, automatic conversions, or they're showing, how to use bump stocks, which I think in the States at some point, or maybe even up until today, were illegal. Like they're showing stuff like even how to remove or how to attach suppressors and silencers, which that already I think is too far. But whatever. You know what? It's not my platform. They're the ones who make the rules. So fair enough. Don't do these things, right? And the thing is, my videos never did those things, right? They never got to the point where they were blatantly violating the policy, because why would I do that, right? I'm trying to build a brand. I'm trying to build a channel. I'm trying to build a community. And I'm trying to build a reputation. So why the fuck would I blatantly do stupid shit like that, right? So I know that I didn't break those policies, because after appealing, every single one of the videos that were either demonetized or limited in monetization were approved for full monetization. What do you know? And it turns out that most of the time, the automated system just says, you know what? I don't think this is good enough. It's within these and these parameters. As a result, it's going to be limited monetization or demonetized. And then you have to appeal it. And after a few days or a week or two, you have a person that reviews it. And if it's okay, then they allow it. And there's already a huge problem with that, because if you have a video that does particularly well, right, you're losing potentially 40, 50, 60+% of the potential revenue of that video, because it literally takes them days to weeks, if not more, to approve it, if they're going to approve it at all, right? So basically what's happening is you're losing that potential income that you will never get back, even if that video is approved later on. That's the first problem. But the bigger problem here is now that with these expanded rules, they're continuing to get worse at misinterpreting these rules and these policies that they've made. And I've got the proof to show you. So essentially what happened was this Siley Optics video was the only video out of all the videos that I've ever uploaded on the channel that was still limited monetization. And I'm like, okay, I thought I had appealed this along with all these other videos. And it turns out, yeah, I did appeal it. And they came back and said, well, between 1 minute and 36 seconds and 1 minute and 37 seconds. I have a screenshot of this, by the way. This was the automated system, right? Or rather, sorry, this was after the automated system had refused it, had told me that I have limited monetization. I had appealed for a human review, and the human review basically said, well, between 1 minute and 36 seconds, 1 minute and 37 seconds, there's a part of your video where you're attempting to sell a firearm accessory or a firearm. I was like, okay. So I go to that part of the video, and if you go to that part of the video, you'll see that 1 minute 36, 1 minute 37, I'm literally putting a piece of paper on the table as I'm unboxing the stuff that comes with the optic. And you might think to yourself, well, okay, maybe they just misinterpreted or something like that, because they said that you were going to put a link to their website, so maybe you're just trying to indirectly sell it, and you're not supposed to sell firearms accessories or firearms because that's the new policy. Well, if you look in the new policy, which I'm going to link in this video, you're going to see that that is not a listed accessory, right? The kind of accessories that they're talking about are things like bump stocks, large capacity magazines, what else? Silencers, suppressors, auto sears. Like, this is the shit they're talking about, right? They're not talking about an optic that anybody could go and buy without a license, without owning a firearm or anything like that. You know, it's just a piece of glass with a dot in it. You know, anybody could own these. And but the only thing that they told me was that I was attempting to sell a firearm accessory, and that's why I have limited monetization. So I go, okay, that's interesting. And then I talked to YouTube support, and YouTube support, if you're a partner, so if you're at 1,000 views or 1,000 subs or above, and you've met a certain amount of watch time, you can apply for a YouTube partnership. That's how you make money on YouTube. And once you're a YouTube partner, you get access to some basic support, right? Some live chat for various help around your channel. So I got in touch with live chat, and I was like, okay, guys, so what's the problem here, right? I mean, it's telling me that I'm trying to sell a firearm accessory or something like that. Like, all I'm doing in that shot that the human reviewer quoted, right, with the timestamp, I'm just showing what's included with this optic. And I said, sure, there is a firearm someplace in the video because I want to show what it looks like on the firearm and so on, so that anybody that's interested in it can see what it looks like. But I'm still following all the federal firearms laws. I'm still following all of the policies that were there before the new June 18th policy, which, by the way, at the time, only a couple of days ago, I still had no idea existed, which didn't matter because it still didn't apply to the video. And the guy told me, well, it's because it seems like you were trying to sell, whether directly or indirectly, this firearm accessory, and that's probably why they flagged it, because with the new rules now, we don't allow that. And I'm thinking to myself, what new rules, right? I had no idea. So he goes, okay, I'll tell you what you can do. You can apply for a second review, because sometimes mistakes happen, blah, blah, blah. And I go, oh, great. This is so helpful. So there's this convoluted process to go outside of YouTube Studio to apply. You have to go, first of all, they make you dig all around your channel to find your channel ID. So you got to find that. Then you got to link the video. And then you have literally like that much space to describe the problem. So, okay. So I did that. And if you're on our Discord, and if you're not, I'll link it below so you can come and join us. But in the Discord, in the general chat, I've basically posted what the response was from appealing a second time. And now they gave a different timestamp. And they said, well, you were trying to sell a firearms accessory either directly or indirectly, and that's why your video has limited monetization. And I'm thinking to myself, like, this is not right. Yes, I am, in a way, indirectly selling an accessory that goes on a firearm, but the way that he put it was that this scope, this optic, was an actual firearm part, as in an actual part that goes in a firearm or a firearm component. Again, a component like a bolt, right, or a firing pin that goes in the firearm. So I'm thinking to myself, there's absolutely no way, you can't hurt anybody with this optic, shy of maybe just throwing it really hard at them, right? I go, I've done nothing wrong. So I write back, and I still haven't heard from them. I said, look, here's your own policy. It's being completely misinterpreted. You guys are telling me that I'm selling some accessory or whatever, and then I go and I read your most recent firearm policy, and it's talking about all sorts of shit that probably 99.999% of that stuff is all illegal in Canada anyway. So I would have no reason to be talking about it or selling it or showing it off. It just doesn't make any sense. So the reason why I'm telling you this story is because after this ordeal, one of our really awesome VIPs in our Discord community decided to show me a video. The video was of, and you guys may have seen it if you're into, gun stuff on YouTube, Hickok 45 with his son, standing there and basically talking about the same policy. Just saying, look, guys, 95% of our shit is talking about firearm accessories. Firearms, that's what we do. We're here to show people what stuff looks like and fires like, and, you guys know what they do. I'm sure you've seen their channel. And I feel for them, and I feel for myself in a way. I've got a little self-pity, and I also feel for any other YouTube channel that's ever had to go through this bullshit of policies being completely just thrown in their face and being completely misconstrued, misunderstood, and misinterpreted by YouTube's own staff. I've done nothing wrong, and I stand by that. And the reason why I'm telling you all this is because now that I've realized that uploading this kind of content can have my account terminated at the drop of a hat, it's honestly kind of scary. You know, I've been busting my ass for like the last year and a half trying to come out with interesting content that you guys might find helpful, whether reviews or information about the law, the limited information that I know, trying to help new people get into firearms, promoting firearms safety and responsible ownership. You know, these are all things I've talked about, and you know, it takes a lot, guys. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not looking to make this a pity party here. I'm gonna be honest with you though. Video production is a lot of fucking work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of planning. It's a lot of doing the same take over and over and over again. It's a lot of editing. It's a lot of putting up with a lot of bureaucratical horseshit like this stuff on YouTube. Video production is not easy. But I'm doing it because I feel like I can make a positive difference in the lives of people that are into firearms, but also in the lives of people that maybe want to learn a little bit more about firearms, that don't want to be given one side of the story by the liberal media, for lack of better people to blame, or our own government. You know, like, I'm not trying to convince anybody to love guns. I'm just trying to show people what it's like to be a gun owner and give people the other side of the story so that you guys can make up your own minds and make a decision that makes sense to you. And the reason why I'm rambling on and telling you all this stuff is just because I am now legitimately afraid that my channel is going to be shut down. I'm not afraid of YouTube in the sense that I'm going to speak my mind either way. I'm going to continue to post my content either way. I really couldn't give a rat's ass about somebody at YouTube trying to intimidate me and telling me that because I'm doing an optic review, they're going to shut me down. At the end of the day, if they want to shut me down, they're going to shut me down whether I like it or not. But that's not going to scare me. I'm here for a reason, and that reason is to bring you some entertaining and sometimes educational content with respect to firearms. And if I'm not going to do it on YouTube, then you better believe it, I'm going to do it on Rumble or somewhere else. And once again, the reason I'm telling you all of this is because there's a very distinct possibility that one day, not of my own free will, my channel will be gone. And I want you to know that if that happens, it wasn't my choice. I didn't give up. I didn't fucking pack up and run away with the tail in between my legs. That I was forced off by a bunch of corporate goons who couldn't be bothered to read their own policies. That's what this is. Unfortunately, this is not a new problem. This is a problem that many, many people around the world who try to make this their dream job, who try to help other people and be good creators and video makers and videographers and photographers and bloggers. All these people, at some point, depending on the content they're making, have had to deal with some level of censorship or demonetization from YouTube. In my personal opinion, I feel like the internet, as quirky, weird, and downright scary sometimes that it is, I really feel that it should continue to remain, as was envisioned from the very beginning, as an open forum for the exchange of ideas, information, knowledge, and everything in between. And I'm just really worried that if this continues to happen, that we are going to start setting a very dangerous precedent for simply taking people off the air that we don't agree with. To a degree, I can understand that there are certain companies out there that don't want to align themselves with firearms. Certain individuals out there that also don't want to align themselves with firearms or firearm-related content. But there are many, many, many more that, given the knowledge that the information is useful, educational, entertaining, and not harmful, wouldn't give two shakes of a rat's ass. But unfortunately, it seems like YouTube is speaking for all of those companies and all of those individuals. And it seems like they don't mind misinterpreting their own policies that I have not broken. And if this can happen once and twice, then it can happen a million times. And before you know it, the only people that are going to exist on YouTube are going to be the people that YouTube themselves agree with, which is not the kind of vision of the internet that I envision myself. So if you'd like to help me, and really not just me, but any other creator, firearms content or otherwise, join our communities. Become a part of what we strive to be. Teach others and fight the good fight. Because the only way we're going to win this is if we band together and say enough is enough. For me personally, I can tell you that it's becoming very challenging because I'm feeling like I'm constantly having to walk on eggshells, and as I said myself in Discord earlier today, barely treading water here. That is a really difficult situation to be in when all you want to do is provide good content and help make a difference somehow. So, if you'd like to help, if you'd like to become a part of our community, if you'd like to be in the know about what's going on with Canadian Operator, with me, with the channel, with the brand, with the website, with the community in general, join our Discord. It's free, doesn't cost you anything. You can join using your browser. You can download the Discord app if you want. You can use the Discord app on your phone if you don't have a computer, or on your laptop, or on your iPad, or whatever else. Just become a member of our community. Come hang out with us, meet a lot of new people, make some friends, and be advised when things change. Because if anything does happen to this channel, then the people on Discord are going to be the first to know. Now, before I end the video here, because it's been a bit of a long ramble, so forgive me for that, please, really. I just really wanted to get across all the stuff that I had on my chest and maybe share some of the frustrations that you all have. But my plan for this is I'm not going to change anything on YouTube. These corporate goons don't scare me. And quite frankly, I know I'm not doing anything wrong. So I've got nothing to worry about except the fact that one day the channel might not be here and I might have to deliver this content to you another way. But speaking of that, I'm in the process of starting a new Rumble account. And we're going to start posting videos there. I've actually backed up all of my long-form content as well, because I feel like if it does happen at the drop of a hat, there's no way that YouTube's going to be like, yeah, well, why don't you come back in the office and pick up your cardboard box, and then, you know, we'll close the door and change the locks at that point. No, when the channel's gone, it's gone, right? So I've backed everything up, and yeah, I mean, I've kind of prepared for the worst. I know that seems extremely dismal of an outlook to have, but hey man, I'm a realist, you know. I see where things are going, and those that don't adapt get left behind, right? So, before I let you go, I want to tell you one more thing, and I know this is going to sound really cheesy and kind of corny, but I fucking love you guys. I've gone through some shit in my life, like I'm sure many of you have, but I can tell you that there's very, very few things in life that motivate me as much as you guys do. When I see comments that talk about me having helped somebody, even in the tiniest of ways, you know, I just get this big fucking grin on my face. It just makes me so happy. When I wake up and I get into Discord and I see other community members helping other community members, answering questions and just being general, like, awesome human fucking beings, it just puts a smile on my face. And I can't help but realize that, you know, it's not just me that this falls on. It's all of you. And this is probably one of the most awesome communities that I've ever had the pleasure and the honor of being a part of. And so we're not giving up. We're not going to pack our shit up and go home. But when change happens, and I'm sure at some point it will, I want you guys to be on the boat with us as we sail for calmer and clearer waters, for lack of better words. So just know that I appreciate you very much. I do everything that I do because of you guys. And of course, because this is a passion of mine as well. And nothing makes me happier than to know that I've helped at least some of you to some degree in some way at some point. Because nothing is more important than doing that, than helping others for me. That's something that's been a very common pattern in my life. And no matter what I endeavored to do was always something centered around helping people. So I hope that I can count on you being a part of our community, and we'll get through it together. That being said, thank you so much for watching. I don't know how many of you made it to the end, but I really appreciate it. And hopefully we'll see you on Discord. I'll have more updates there for you. And until then, hope to see you in the next video here or wherever it may be. But until then, happy shooting.